Hi guys, welcome to this Easy Maths video, and today we are looking at the Intermediate Maths Challenge 2017 paper. This exam is going to be split up into three parts. We're going to have the first video, which will be questions 1 to 10, a second video, which will be questions 11 to 20, and a final video, which will show the solutions to questions 21 to 25. So the first question says, what is the value of 2/5 plus 2 over 50 plus 2 over 500? We've got answers as A is 0.11, B is 0.22, C is 0.33, D is 0.44, and E is 0.55. So, what you should be able to see is that all three of these fractions, there's a common denominator of 500. So what we need to do is we need to rewrite 2/5 and 2 over 50 as fractions which have the denominator of 500. So what I can do is I can multiply my denominator by 100, so I'll get 500, and whatever I do to my denominator I need to do to my numerator, so I need to multiply 2 by 100. So 2/5 is the same as saying 200 over 500. And then 2 over 50, well, I can multiply my denominator by 10 to get 500, and then if I multiply 2 by 10, I'm going to get 20 over 500. Which is the same as 2 over 50. And now I just need to add these fractions together. So I'm going to get 2/5, which is 200 over 500, plus 2 over 50, which is 20 over 500, plus 2 over 500. And now all three of these fractions have the same denominator. I can just add the numerators. So I get 200 plus 20 plus 2. So it's 222 over 500. Now we want our answer as a decimal. So what I can do is I can convert this fraction into a decimal by dividing by 1,000. So to divide by 1,000, I need to multiply my denominator by 2, and I need to multiply my numerator by 2. So in that case, 222 over 500 is the same as saying 444 over 1,000. And as a decimal, we're going to get 0.444. And that is answer D. So therefore, final answer is D. Question 2. Each of the diagrams below shows a circle and 4 small squares. In each case, the centre of the circle is the point where all 4 squares meet. In one of the diagrams, exactly 1/3 of the circle is shaded. Which one is it? So we've got our answers A, B, C, D, and E, and we need to find which diagram shows exactly 1/3 of the circle being shaded. So the way I thought about this is we know that the interior angles of a circle add up to 360 degrees. So I thought, well, what do the interior angles of 1/3 of a circle add up to? Well, that's easy. I can just do 1/3 times 360, which is 120. Each circle has a square inside of it. And of course, we know that a square is made up of 4 right angles. So, for example, if you look at diagram A, you'll see that 1/4 of the circle is shaded, which means that 90 out of 360 degrees of the circle has been shaded, which is the same as 1/4. So what that means is, well, we know 90 degrees is 1/4 of the circle, so we need to find a diagram which has 90 degrees plus another 30 degrees of the diagram being shaded to give us 120. Well, let's have a look at which ones it's not. It's definitely not A or E, because A is 90 degrees and E is 180 degrees. It's half the circle. If I look at circle D, you should be able to see that over 1.5 squares have been shaded in. So we know that means it's going to be larger than 90 plus half of 90, which is 45. So we know that D is larger than 135. And C, well, we've got 1 square that's been shaded and half a square which has been shaded. Well, half a square means that the angle that's been shaded is 45 degrees. So C has an angle of exactly 135 degrees. So C and D are too big, E's too big, A's too small, so it must be B. Because B has a region which is greater than 90 but smaller than 135 degrees. And that satisfies what we've worked out as 120. So therefore I can say that my answer is equal to B. Question 3 says, how many squares have 7 as their units digit? We've got answers as A is 0, B is 1, C is 2, D is 3, or E is 4. Okay, so the way to think about this is let's go through all the square numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so we know 1 squared is 1, we know 2 squared is 4, we know 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, and 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, and 10 squared is 100. If you have any number, no matter how many digits it is, so let's say we've got the number, I don't know, let's say 67. If you were going to square 67, you should end up with a units digit of 9. And the reason for that is because 7 squared is equal to 49. And of course, our units digits are between 1 and 9. So technically, we only need to know square numbers from 1 to 9. So if I was to work out what 67 squared is, you don't need to know this for the exam, but I'm just going to tell you. The answer is 4,489, which is correct because I know 7 squared is 49 and my units digit is 9. So what that means is no matter how many digits a number has, we know that the units column is always going to end with a number between 1 and 9. And when we square it, our units digit is going to end in any of these numbers that have been squared. So it's either going to end in a 1, a 4, a 9, a 6 for 16, 5 for 25, a 6 for 36, a 9 for 49, and a 1 for 81. And out of all of those results, none of those answers end in a 7. So that means that there are no numbers that when you square it, it has a units digit that ends in 7. So our answer must therefore be A. Question 4. Which of the following is not the sum of 2 primes? We got answers as A is 5, B is 7, C is 9, D is 11, and E is 13. So, if we look at the first answer, A is 5, well, we know only 2 prime numbers that are smaller than 5 are 2 and 3. And if we add 2 and 3, we get 5. So what that means is that it can't be A because they're both prime. So that's not equal to answer A. Now, if we look at answer B, which is 7, well, we know 5 is a prime number. And what do we add to 5 to get 7? Well, that's 2. We've just shown here that 2 is also a prime number. So 2 add 5 equals 7. Both 2 and 5 are prime. So the answer cannot be B. Answer C is 9. Again, we know 7 is prime. And we know 2 is prime. 7 plus 2 is 9. So they're both prime, so it can't be C. So 2 plus 7 equals 9. Both prime, so it can't be C. What about 11 though? If we use this same pattern where we've done 2 add the previous result, so in this case it's going to be 2 plus 9, which gives us 11. Well, 2 is prime, but 9 is not prime because we know it has multiples of 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So therefore we can say 9 is not prime. So that means our answer is probably going to be D. Let's just do a test for E. So applying the same pattern, that means we would say that 2 plus 11 is equal to 13. Well, we know 2 is a prime number, we know 11 is a prime number, so they're both prime. So our answer cannot be E. So therefore, our final answer must be D. Question 5. The diagram shows 2 circles with the same centre. The radius of the outer circle is twice the radius of the inner circle. The region between the inner circle and the outer circle is divided into 6 equal segments as shown. What fraction of the area of the outer circle is shaded? We've got answers as A is 3 over 7, B is 3 over 8, C is 3 over 9, D is 3 over 10, and E is 3 over 11. Okay, so I've enlarged the diagram here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to label our radiuses. So we know that the radius of the larger circle is twice the radius of the smaller circle. So if I say the radius of the smaller circle is R, then the radius of the larger circle is going to be 2R. So what do we know? Well, we know that the area of this whole circle is going to be pi multiplied by the radius of the whole circle, which is 2R, and that's all squared. So we get an answer of 4R squared pi for the area. Okay, but we want to find what fraction of the area of the outer circle is shaded. So that, of course, is these 3 regions here. What fraction is shaded? So the way we can do that is we need to work out the area of the outer region. So the area of the outer region we can find by taking the area of the larger circle and subtracting the area of the smaller circle. Okay, so we know what the area of the larger circle is because we've already worked it out. That's 4R squared pi. The area of the smaller circle, well, that's got a radius of R, so that's just going to be pi R squared. So we subtract these 2 results, we're going to get 3 pi R squared, or 3R squared pi, depending on how you want to write it. So that's the area of the whole outer region. But we know that the outer region has been split into 6 segments, in which 3 of those segments are shaded. So what we need to do is we need to say, well, half of the region has been shaded, 3 over 6. 3 out of 6 segments have been shaded. So we do a half multiplied by 3 pi r squared. We're then going to get 3 over 2 pi r squared, which is going to be the area of the shaded regions. Now, as a fraction, the fraction is going to be the area of the shaded regions divided by the total area of the whole circle. So the area of the shaded regions is 3 over 2 pi r squared divided by the area of the whole circle, which we know is 4 pi r squared. And what you'll find here is the pi's are a constant, so they're cancel out. The r squareds are constant, so they're cancel out. And now we've just got the calculation of 3 over 2 times 1 over 4, which is the same as saying 3 over 8. And we've got an answer for 3 over 8, which is answer B. So therefore, our final answer equals B. Question 6. The angles of a quadrilateral are in the ratio 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. What is the difference between the largest angle and the smallest angle? We got answers as A is 30 degrees, B is 40 degrees, C is 50 degrees, D is 60 degrees, and E is 70 degrees. Okay, so we know that the angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360 degrees. And we're given the ratio of each of the angles. And we need to find the difference between the smallest angle and the largest angle. Well, we know that the smallest angle is going to be the 3, and we know that the largest angle is going to be the 6. So what we can do is we can convert this ratio into a fraction. So to find the smallest angle, we can do 360 degrees multiplied by 3 divided by the total ratios. So that's 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. So 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. So this is the same as doing 360 times 3 over 18. 3 over 18 is the same as 1/6. So we're doing 360 times 1/6. So obviously that's the same as doing 360 degrees divided by 6, which is 60. Let's have a look at the largest angle. So the largest angle is going to be 360 multiplied by 6 over 18. Well, 6 over 18 is the same as a third. And a third of 360 is 120. And now what we got to do is we got to subtract the smallest angle away from the largest angle. So we're doing 120 subtract 60, which is 60. And we've got an answer for 60, which is D. So therefore, final answer equals D. Question 7. 4 different positive integers are to be chosen so that they have a mean of 2017. What is the smallest range of the chosen integers? The answers is A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D is 5, and E is 6. So the key with this question is the fact that we've got 4 positive integers. So the first test I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, let's say I've got 4 consecutive numbers. So let's say these numbers are x, x plus 1, x plus 2, and x plus 3. They're all increasing by 1. So if I took the mean of all of these 4 values, I would do x plus 1 plus x plus 2 plus x plus 3. That would all be over 4, and that would be equal to 2017. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for x, and if I get an x value that is an integer, then I can take my largest value, which is going to be that answer plus 3, and then I can subtract that away from what my answer is. So in other words, my range of my values will be 3, because I'm just doing x plus 3 take away x, which is 3, and that would be my smallest possible range. If I don't end up getting an integer, then what that means is the smallest possible range cannot be 3, because I've got a contradiction, because here I would be saying that, well, x is not equal to an integer, and I've got a range of 3, but that doesn't work. We can't have a contradiction. So let's try it. So what I need to do is I need to simplify my numerator, so I'll get 4x plus 1 plus 2, which is 3, plus 3, which is 6, all over 4, which equals 2017. I can then multiply both sides by 4, so I do 4 times 2017. So if I work that out, I get 4 times 7, which is 28, 4 times 10, which is 40, and then 4 times 2000, which is 8000. If I add these together, that's an 8, that's a 6. I'll get 8068. So I've got 4x plus 6 equals 8068. So now if I subtract 6 from both sides, I'm going to get 4x equals 8062. So now if I try and divide both sides by 4, if I divide by 2, I'm going to get 2x equals 4041. But now the answer on my right hand side is not even. So if I try and divide by 2, I'm not going to get an integer. So as x is not an integer, that means, so I'll put this means my smallest possible range cannot be 3. Okay, so I know it's not 3. What about 2? Well, if I had 2, that would mean I would have 2 numbers that would be the same, and then I could have another number which is 1 larger than the previous number, and another number, say x plus 2. So now, let's work out what the mean of this would be. This would be x plus x plus x, which is 4x, plus 1 plus 2, which is plus 3, divided by 4 equals 2017. Multiply both sides by 4. I know what that is. That's 8,068. So I'm saying 4x plus 3 equals 8,068. Subtract 3 from both sides. Well, I'm going to get 4x equals 8,065. Well, I know 8,065 is not divisible by 4 because it ends in a 5. So it can't be 2. My smallest possible range cannot be 2. What about 4? Well, if I have 4, that means I could have the numbers x plus 1, and then we could have, say, x plus 3 and x plus 4. So now if I try and find the mean of these numbers, I'll get 4x plus 8 divided by 4 equals 2017. Multiply both sides by 4, I get 4x plus 8 equals 8,068. If I now subtract 8 from both sides, I'm going to get 4x equals 8,060. Again, if I divide both sides by 2, I'll get 2x equals 4,030. If I then divide by 2 again, I'll get x equals 2,015. Right, so now I've got a positive integer for x. So what that means is my answers, all my numbers are going to be x, which is 2015, x plus 1, which is 2016, x plus 3, which is 2018, and x plus 4, which is 2019. So if I add those numbers together, work out the mean, divide by 4, I get 2017. So my smallest range is taking 2019 and subtracting it from 2015, which is 4. And we've got an answer for 4, which is C. So therefore, my answer must be C. Question 8, which of the following numbers is the largest? We got answers as A is 1.3542, B is 1.3542, where the 2 is a recurring decimal. C is 1.3542, where both the 4 and the 2 are recurring decimals. D is 1.3542, where the 5 and the 2 are recurring decimals. Or we've got an answer of E, which is 1.3542, where the 3 and the 2 are recurring decimals. So let's try and simplify each of these decimals. So A is nice and easy because we've got no recurring decimals. So it's 1.3542. And what's going to happen is we're just going to have zeros going on forever after this. If you like, the 0 after the 2 is a recurring decimal. And I've done that so that we can compare our other answers against this result here. So B, we've got 1.3542 where the 2 is a recurring decimal. So what that means is if we were going to write that as a full expanded decimal, what's going to happen is this 2 is just going to keep on recurring forever. Okay? But what you should be able to see is if I subtract answer B away from answer A, I'm going to get an answer which is greater than 0, which means that answer B is larger than answer A. Okay, so I know B is greater than C. Let's have a look at C. So C is 1.3542, where the 4 and the 2 are recurring decimals. So that is basically the same as saying 1.35, 4.2, and then the 4.2 just keeps on recurring. And what you should be able to see is, well, these digits are all the same, but after the 2, the 4.2 that keeps recurring is greater than the 2 that keeps recurring. So yeah, sorry, here, that's B is greater than A. So here, C is greater than B. Okay, if we look at D, D is 1.3542, where the 5 and the 2 are recurring decimals. So that's the same as saying 1.3542, and then the 5, the 4 and the 2, 5, the 4 and the 2 are just going to keep on recurring. And again, these first few digits are the same, but after the 2, you should be able to see that the 542 that keeps on recurring is greater than the 42 that keeps on recurring. So that means D is greater than answer C. And the final one, which is E, which is 1.3542, 5, 4, 2, where the 3 and the 2 are occurring. So we can rewrite this as 1.3542, 3, 5, 4. Then that would be a 2, that would be a 3, that would be a 5. And what you should be able to see is, again, these first few digits are the same. But after the 2, we've got 3542, which is basically what keeps on recurring, and that is smaller than the 542 that keeps on recurring. So actually, answer D is also greater than answer E, which means that D must be the largest number. So therefore, our answer is D. Question 9. The number TU is the 2-digit number with units digit U and tens digit T. Digits A and B are distinct and non-zero. What is the largest possible value of AB minus BA? We've got answers as A is 81, B is 72, C is 63, D is 54, and E is 45. Okay, so the key to this question is that A and B are distinct and non-zero. So what that means is we can't have any values between 0 and 10. Let's say the number 7, well, that would mean that A would have to be 0 and B would have to be 7, but A and B cannot be 0. So we can't have any values between 0 and 10. We can't have the numbers, say, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. We can't have any 10s because the units digit has a 0 in it. So let's write down all the possible range of values we could have. So the first value we could have is 11 to 19. Then we could have 21 to 29, 31 to 39, 41 to 49, 51 to 59, 61 to 69, 71 to 79, 81 to 89, and lastly 91 to 99. Okay, because A and B is a 2-digit number, so our largest value is 99. So what we need to do is we need to find the largest possible value of AB minus BA. So that's basically taking one of these digits within this range and then subtracting it by reversing the digits. So for example, let's start with the largest range of digits, which is between 91 to 99. If I took 99 and then reverse the digits and then subtract it from 99, well, I'm just going to get 99 minus 99, which is 0. If I had 98, then I'll be doing 98 minus 89, which is 9. If I had 97, subtract that from 79 and I'll get 18. If I had 96, I'll subtract that from 69 and get 27. And what you should be able to see here is that these differences are all multiples of 9. So if I was going to do 95 subtract 59, I should get 36 without even thinking about it, because that is 9 times 4. And then 94 subtract 49 is going to give me an answer of 45. 93 subtract 39 is going to give me an answer of 54. 92 subtract 29 is going to give me an answer of 63. And lastly, 91 subtract 19 is going to give me an answer of 72. And what you should be able to see is that this is the largest possible difference we could have, because 91 is the largest digit that we can reverse in order to get the largest difference. For example, the largest difference from this range, from 81 to 89, is by doing 81, take away the reverse of 81, which is 18, and that gives me 63. So my largest possible difference of AB minus BA must be 72, and I've got an answer for that, which is B. So therefore, my final answer is B. Question 10, the diagram shows 3 rectangles. What is the value of X? We got answers as A is 108, B is 104, C is 100, D is 96, and E is 92. So what I've done is I've enlarged the diagram, and we're going to try and work out this angle here, angle X. So what do we know? Well, this diagram is made up of 3 rectangles, and the interior angles of a rectangle add up to 360. So each vertex is going to have an angle of 90 degrees because we're doing 360 divided by 4. So that means these rectangles are also going to have interiors of 90. So that being said, I can work out what this angle is and what this angle is. Because 43 degrees, the 90 degrees, this angle here, called theta 1, are on a straight line which adds up to 180 degrees. So to get that angle there, theta 1, I'm doing 180, take away 43, take away 90. So I know 180 take away 90 is 90, and 90 take away 43 is 47. Okay, let's try and find this second angle, which I'll call theta 2. Well, again, that's also on a straight line, so that's going to be 180 minus 29 minus 90. 180 minus 90 is 90. 90 subtract 29 is 61. So now I've got answers for theta 1 and theta 2. This angle is 47 and this angle is 61. So straight away I can work out what this third angle is because we've got a triangle here. And I might as well call this theta 3. So theta 3 is going to be 180 minus 47 minus 61, which gives me an answer of 72. So now what I need to do is I need to find x. Now, don't do the common mistake that a lot of people would do and just think, well, these must be opposite angles, so x must be equal to 72. That's not correct. What we want to do is you should be able to see that the x angle, the angle theta 3, which we've got an answer for now, which is 72, and then the two 90-degree angles from the rectangles will all add up to 360 degrees because it forms a circle. So we can write an equation by saying that x is equal to 360, subtract 72, subtract 90, subtract 90. Well, that's the same as doing 360. Take away 180, which is 180, and then 180 take away 72, which is 108. So that is x, and we've got an answer for 108, which is answer A. So therefore, final answer equals A. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I've also left a link in the description to my website, and you can also check out any other videos from my YouTube channel on this page.